A little kid walks into a room. There are 3 puzzles on the table. Someone tells him, you can pick it, or someone else can pick it for you. Now here's the part that was mind-blowing to me. The kid's performance changes based on who picked the puzzle. Not the difficulty of the puzzle, not how smart he is, just who picked it. And this tiny detail reveals something surprisingly big about why so many of us in India struggle to know what we really want. That story you just heard, it wasn't fiction. It was an actual study done by Professor Sheena Iyengar. Kids were given 3 puzzles. They could choose themselves, a stranger could choose, or their mother could choose. Here's what the researchers found. Kids with American parents perform best when they choose themselves. Kids with Indian or Asian parents perform best when their mother chooses. Now it sounds strange, but it reveals something familiar. Growing up here, all of our big decisions feel like a group project. Parents choose your field of study, relatives choose your marriage timeline, society decides what a good life looks like. So the first big question becomes, if we don't practice choosing early in life, how are we supposed to know what we want later? And then suddenly you grow up and everyone assumes that you are ready to make perfect adult decisions. Choosing in India isn't just choosing, it's choosing between 2 systems. One says, you are an individual, you decide. The other says, we are a family, do what's right for all of us. 2 different kind of values, neither is wrong, they are just built differently. But here's the conflict. The responsibility is on you, but the approval is from everyone else. So 2 voices start living in your head. One says, do what feels right to you. The other one says, if you mess this up, the consequences won't just be yours. And that leads to a painful, honest question. How do you hear your own voice when you have spent your entire life adjusting it for everyone else? There's an experiment that explains why this gets so confusing. Participants are shown 3 lines. The task is simple. Match the line that looks exactly like the reference line. The correct answer seems pretty obvious. But when the entire group, who are actually actors, chooses the wrong line, the real participant copies them. And in India, the group doesn't need to be sitting in the room with you. They are already in your head. Parents, relatives, neighbors, what you were praised for, what you were scolded for, what good kids do, what good families say. So when you think about quitting a job, changing cities, choosing someone your family doesn't approve of, you're not just asking, what do I want? You're also asking, what will everyone else think if I choose this? Your voice exists, it's just buried under years of training. Now here's a hypothetical question. What happens if you manage to silence that crowd in your head? What if suddenly you decide to choose yourself? A new problem shows up. You're not facing one clear path, you're facing 50. Which brings us to the next question. Why doesn't the clarity appear even when we get the freedom to choose? Modern life didn't just give us freedom, it gave us options. So many options that freedom becomes noise. Career paths, dating apps, cities to move to, hobbies to explore, side hustles to start, opportunities you see every single day online. And that's where another famous experiment comes in. Researchers created 2 tasting tables in a supermarket, one with 6 jars of jam, another one with 24. The 24 jar table attracted more people, but almost nobody made a purchase. The 6 jar table, 10 times more purchase. Too many options sometimes creates analysis paralysis. Now add this to Indian reality. Even if the world shows you endless possibilities, your real choices depend on what you can afford, what your family expects, and what will look sensible. So you end up in this strange space. Online you see 1,000 lives you could live, and offline only 3 of them feel possible. What happens then? You don't choose a path, you get pushed into one. Start IIT coaching in 9th grade because everyone else is doing so. Take the stable job because risk feels irresponsible. Say yes to marriage because this is the right age. Life moves forward, but something inside stays blurry. That quiet voice inside that says, I'm doing everything, but I don't know why. That blur is what happens when your path forms around you instead of chosen by you. So after everything we have talked about, there's one final question left. What does clarity actually do for us? Why does it matter? Here's something most people don't realize. Every decision we make is usually a choice between 2 things. Choosing ourselves or choosing others. Choosing our needs or choosing someone else's comfort? Choosing our truth or choosing what keeps the peace? And most of us switch between the two without even knowing we are doing it. It's not confusion, it's unconsciousness. Clarity doesn't mean you always choose yourself or you always choose others. It means you know what you're choosing and why. And that awareness alone puts you back in the driver's seat. Because the moment you understand your own patterns, what triggers you, scares you, motivates you, exhausts you, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like an active chooser. And something interesting happens next. The world starts opening up. Decisions feel lighter. Paths you never saw before appear. Things don't feel impossible, they feel workable, adjustable, customizable. When you're not blinded by noise, family pressure, social pressure, option overload, your brain naturally becomes more creative. And that's why at the end of this video, I'm adding one slide, not instructions or rules, just small tools so you can understand your own patterns. So your next choice becomes a little more conscious and a little less automatic. Take what fits, ignore the rest. Because clarity isn't about choosing the right life, it's about choosing the life with your eyes open.